It's time now for a look at the latest in local news. In the news, a Wayne County jury of 7 men and 5 women deliberated several hours on Thursday before returning with not guilty verdicts on both counts for all 3 defendants. Arian Maxwell, Christopher McCormick, and Tyler James Wooten all found not guilty of aggravated assault, not guilty of felony murder. All were released yesterday from jail when they've been in prison or been in the Wayne County jail since their arrest back in December of 2020. In closing arguments, the prosecutor in the case, Assistant DA Clifton Woody, told the jury that all 3 men were guilty, all were party to the crime, all played a key role in the death of 17-year-old Lester Dennison, who was shot in the back on Fender Road on December 15th of 2020 here in Wayne County. He told the jury that defense attorneys are simply chasing rabbits with their theory that Lester was a bad guy and that somehow someone in Lester's group of friends might have possibly shot their friend. State claimed that the defendants came to send a message that night to Lester Dennison. That message was not to stiff your drug dealer, not to call them names and anger them even more. State says the defendants were mad at Lester for the 2 fake $20 bills and got even madder when they saw Snapchat messages calling their names, with Lester saying that they simply won't do anything about it. They're simply wimps. State says they came to Jessup in the course of the evening, shot Lester in the back, killed him, and the prosecutors asked for guilty verdicts on both counts. In closing arguments, the defense attorneys, and there were 3 different attorneys, each representing 1 defendant each, all stated that the burden of proof lies with the state, and they stated that the state did not meet that burden in this case. Attorney Gregory Sasser told the jury in closing arguments that he lost track of how many times Lester's friends who took the stand to testify said either "I don't know" or "I don't remember." Sasser told the jury his friends couldn't even decide who made the 911 call and who helped Lester that night, that they all ran back to the house, simply left their friends, stating one of the witnesses continually stated, "We should not have left him." Sasser told the jury that the state that evening let Lester's friends gather together and get their story straight before law enforcement arrived, and the Lester's group of friends were the ones to tell law enforcement where to look for the shell casings. The defense questions why the GBI never got a warrant to search the house where all those boys and Lester were staying on Fender Road. Sasser, who represented Christopher McCormick, who witnesses stated fired the shots that night, told the jury that the evidence does not support that. He says that his client was in the back seat of the car with a window that would not simply roll down. He said there was no way he could have been the shooter. Sasser says his client didn't fire the gun that evening. Jason Nix represented Arian Maxwell. He says no one who testified in this case ever said Maxwell shot anyone. Nix called both sets of friends on Fender Road that night a bunch of idiotic children, all to see a boy fight. Nix said the state star witness, Shayla Britton, says she never saw who shot anyone, and he told the jury that he trusted them to sort it all out and realized that his client was not guilty. Adrian Browning represented Tyler Wooten, who was friends with Shayla Britton, and the two had a child together. Shayla sold the drugs and received the fake $20 bills, and Tyler Wooten's job was to defend Shayla and fix the problem with the fake money. Adrian Browning told the jury that if the state had charged her client with fighting or disorderly conduct, that she would not be in court, but the charge with aggravated assault and felony murder was simply not right. Attorney Browning told the jury that not one single witness this week ever said Tyler had a gun, ever brought a gun. Everyone who testified said the same thing, and that was that Tyler was simply there for one thing and one thing only, that was to fight and duke it out. Browning reminded the jury that Tyler did try to fix it, tried to pay the money back to Maxwell, but Maxwell refused his money. It was Attorney Browning who pointed the jury to the 911 call, in which still no one seems certain who made the call, but when Shayla's name is mentioned, someone yells in the background, "Shut up." The defense telling the jury that it was Lester's friends who were plotting and scheming and trying to get their story straight before law enforcement arrived that evening. Lester's friends were arguing about who went back to the house, who found Lester after he was shot, and again, one of his friends saying over and over, "We should not have left him." Browning told the jury that it was their job to determine who was credible from the witness stand, and reminded the jury that when Shayla's sister went to testify before the GBI, she deleted all her text messages between her and Shayla that evening. Browning told the jury that Tyler's testifying in court was not easy, but he did take the stand and told the truth. He was simply there for one reason and one reason only, and that was to fight. Browning says for the most part, Shayla's testimony was spot on. She also told the jury that Tyler never had a gun and was not there to shoot anyone. Browning told the jury that her client was innocent of all the charges, told the jury what happened to Lester Dennison is a tragedy and a sad story, but that Tyler Wooten had nothing to do with his death, and asked for not guilty verdicts, which she and the other 2 defense attorneys got Thursday afternoon. Again, the jury came back with all not guilty verdicts on all charges for all 3 defendants, so the only person found guilty from the evening of December 15, 2020 is Shayla Britton. Again, Britton accepted a plea offer from the state. She pled guilty to aggravated assault, received a 20-year sentence with 12 to serve in prison. Once again, she cooperated with the state's case this week and testified in court, coming from prison in her orange jumpsuit. Again, she's now hoping with her cooperation and testimony that Judge Roger Lane will release or reassess her sentence and possibly reduce the sentence so she can go home and be with her child. Only time will tell if that happens. No promises were made by the state or the judge. She may have to serve the entire 4 years. Again, her attorney is Jonathan Lockwood. Once again, it was a week-long trial. Jury selection got underway Monday. Again, not guilty verdicts on Thursday afternoon. All three defendants who had been in jail for over 2 years as they were arrested around Christmas of 2020, again, were released sometime yesterday afternoon. Again, all found not guilty of the charges of aggravated assault and felony murder. We'll be back with more news after this word from our sponsor, the commercial messages, so please stay tuned. The race for the U.S. Senate seat in Georgia between incumbent Raphael Warnock and Republican candidate Herschel Walker will be decided on Tuesday, December the 6th. Early voting begins in 10 days, November 28th through December the 2nd. Time of the early voting, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Early voting in Wayne County will take place at the Hall Richardson Recreation Center on the day of the election. Polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Both men are traveling state seeking support for the important runoff. Again, the early voting gets underway November 28th, runs through December 2nd, Election Day, Tuesday, December 6th. Meanwhile, the two candidates in this race continue to take shots at each other as it begins to heat up and get nasty. The two are taking shots at each other's credibility, but this week Raphael Warnock says Walker's campaign crossed the line when he escalated his personal attacks, accusing the Democrat of being a negligent father of his two young children. Warnock released a statement which reads, quote, "I know that politics is ugly. People play all types of games, unfortunately, but Herschel and his allies have crossed a line where my family is concerned. Warnock says he wants to set the record straight. He says, my children live with me. I'm present with my children in every way a father should be, from breakfast in the morning to bedtime prayers at night. I can't allow my opponent to continue to lie about my family," end quote. Comments came after Walker claimed the Democratic candidate did not keep his own kids at a campaign stop in Augusta, Georgia. Walker stated, "Why don't he keep his own kids? You keep your kids." Walker says he keeps his own kids, but Warnock lied about him. But Walker says it's okay because he realized he's just out there trying to get votes. Warnock says Walker's hypocrisy is too much to bear. Warnock says we've learned about most of Walker's children during this race. Warnock says there are two men in this race and one has been missing from his family, and Warnock says it's not him. Once again, the race heating up. Again, the two candidates going after one another personally. Again, voters of Georgia determine the outcome on Tuesday, December the 6th. We'll be back with some final news notes after this word from our sponsor, other commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Final notes of news. Again, the holidays quickly approaching. Again, a lot of activities in Jessup Wayne County to celebrate the holidays. One coming up this Sunday evening, 6 p.m. at Calvary Baptist Church, the 23rd Annual Thanksgiving Community Service. Guest speakers this year will be Reverend Pete Boyd of Calvary Baptist Church and Reverend Calvin Anderson of Unity Church of God. Community choir will provide the music. Again, it's all set for this Sunday evening, 6 p.m. at Calvary Baptist Church. Again, the public is invited to attend. Also, Thursday and Friday, December 1st and 2nd, the annual live nativity put on by members of the Altamont Baptist Church. Once again, it'll take place at the JC Fairgrounds, but they're going back to the walkthrough event this year. Times will be 6 to 8 p.m. The dates, again, Thursday and Friday, December 1st and 2nd. If you need additional information before the dates, call 912-586-6780. Jessup DDA hosting the annual lighting of the Christmas tree. That's going to take place on Thursday evening, December 1st at Pocket Park. The time, 6 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. Singing will be performed by the Jessup Church of God Kids Choir. Also, kids from Jessup Elementary and Martha Ross Smith will be on hand. Santa will be at Cafe Euro that evening from 7 to 9. Again, all that taking place on December the 1st. Then on Saturday, December 3rd, the annual Chamber of Commerce Christmas Parade. The theme, an old-fashioned Christmas, set for 7 p.m. that evening in downtown Jessup. Still time to get an entry into the parade. Deadline to get an entry into the parade is November 28th. Stop by or call the Chamber. The number is 427-2028. That's going to do it for latest in local news. Sports comes your way in a few minutes. We'll preview the big game tonight in Perry. Again, Bob Morgan saying have a great day.